One.
Hi, this is Grace again, and this is, I believe, episode 6, and we just did episode 5, I believe, and we're on a roll. We're now going to give more character analysis of Trump briefly, but we're going to apply that not only to ourselves as human beings, but also to the audience out there, so that you learn that we are also, in terms of karma, what goes around comes around. We are all responsible for how we learn to use these energies and also what we incarnated with. Now let me tell you something about, these are regulators, and they're very important for you to know. Jupiter means when you should be confident, be more outgoing, generous, and happy, humorous, and lighthearted, and very giving to those who deserve it. And then the opposite principle is when you should be more serious and more control and discipline, focus, work, and not be over giving, because if you don't have any money, how can you be giving? You don't have anything really to give. So those are the two regulators that we're all learning how to use down here, and when they're appropriate for each situation. That in terms of Donald Trump, now Donald has a sun with his Uranus, which makes him very electrifying, but he's also very unpredictable, which Uranus is. It's in lucky star to Jupiter, so that's why he's very wealthy. So he says, but he certainly won't show you his income taxes. Well, that star pattern is Mercury, which rules income taxes. Pieces of paper that you have to report your finances is in unlucky star to Neptune, which means that in terms of his character, if he's using it on the negative, that means he can lie and hide and cheat and so forth. But on the positive, it means that a person could be very compassionate, very sympathetic, and give to the poor, and he does that. So he's not all negative. He also has some wonderful qualities. He's built an empire. So let's give him credit where it's due. But any people who lie, and you're even lying and deceiving yourself, that you don't want to see reality and you're just going to be self-deluding, well, when you walk into the wall, you're going to be crying, but it's too late by then. But then you'll have to get, you have to use Saturn, which is resolve. No matter what you lost, you're going to have to, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So you have, that's using Saturn, but also a certain amount of Jupiter, which is more faith. Say, okay, I may be stuck in a hole, I may have lost, I don't have now, but I will have my dream, because I'm going to be more, I'll pray and have more faith that even if it's tough now, that I will use my character of resolve and my inner spine to be tough and keep working, plugging away, even if it's a mundane job, because a lot of jobs are boring, but for a while I'll do it until my inner signal tells me, no, I gotta go. Then each person is being guided by an inner force, so nobody can overtell anybody what they should be doing, unless you really see that they're off the wall, and you try to prevent them from walking into a wall. But half the time, they're not going to listen anyway, so what can I tell you? That's human nature, including myself. You think I totally want to change the things that I don't want to do? Not necessarily. And I can laugh about it, but if I keep it up, then Saturn will be the taskmaster. So anyway, with Donald, his son, at least he has your sense of self, and that you're not going to be hiding your light under a bushel because you have no self-esteem. Well, he apparently seems to have some self-esteem, but the thing is, with his moon in Sagittarius, means that his nature is just to blurt out things. He doesn't necessarily hold back, and he's going to put his foot in his mouth, so the expression says, because his moon is in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is fire. You don't keep down fire, it goes up. It's the opposite of Scorpio, which is water. It can lay low and hide, and you don't even know what hits you when they're mad at you. They'll hide it till later, when you don't expect it. That his Mercury, as I already decoded for you, is how he thinks, talks, his paperwork, his taxes. He wants to hide, and he already admitted he never pays taxes, as his lawyer is working for him. How's that for helping the United States of America? How is that really for the common people who have every right, because they're the workers, to have such an extreme of wealth to the poor, like Bernie Sanders is saying, that only the 1% are enjoying most of the wealth? That's fair? I don't have to tell you. But anyway, he did his Mercury, his Venus, together with Saturn, means that he can put down women. Saturn on the negative, because they themselves don't feel that great about themselves, has a psychological need to put other people lower or down, not unless it's justified criticism, but if in case it isn't, then they just have a need to say no to people and just keep putting people down, because that in their eyes make them smaller because they feel so little. As the saying goes, until we truly learn to love ourselves more of the times, can we truly have enough left over to be generous, Jupiter, to give to others. If you really don't have that much inside, you're battling so much to even have some self-esteem. So anyway, oh, you can hear the birds chirping. It's so lovely here in Central Park. And we're so lucky to be here, able to tape here and give you this great cosmic knowledge to help you as you're mastering, hopefully, your lessons. And at least if you know the deal down here, you can hang on stronger and be more Saturn when you need to be, to keep going when it's tough, and learn to be more disciplined, and don't let any situation overly get you down. Have your moments, of course, we're human, but in the end, have Jupiter faith that you're going to rise above, and use role models of people who have suffered many, many losses, but in the end, it came out okay. So, so we just did his Venus, together with Saturn. Saturn on the positive means he was able to manage real estate, and very valuable real estate, which is Venus, things of value. And his Mars, as we discussed, can be very bombastic, but on the positive, it's like the lion. It can be very outgoing and courageous when it's appropriate. So let's just say that in terms of women, he is using his Saturn to put down women, to demean them, particularly regarding their looks. And I'm going to tell him, he thinks he looks so good. Well, we could do, what's the saying? Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. If you want to put down women, particularly, well then, these women can put down you. You don't look like Rock Hudson. You don't look like Brad Pitt. So what are you so arrogant about? You know, we'll apply the same energy and power to you, and we'll put you down. So if you don't learn from your mistakes or the misuse of power of Saturn, Saturn the positive is work, focus, discipline, to say no when you have to, and so forth. But Saturn on the negative, as I told you, puts down yourself. You have a tape recorder going down, so, oh, I'm no good, oh, I did this wrong, and okay, instead of just saying, okay, I'll fix it, and I'll, keep going, but I won't try not to do that again. But instead, you just every day keep beating yourself up with your tape recorder and your thoughts, and that's not good either. So then his Jupiter, as I told you, he can be very generous, and so forth. On the negative, Jupiter can be overconfident. So today he put down the governor of New Mexico, I believe, and I think she's Mexican, and she didn't come out and support him, so he's mad at that. So he's insulting her, and that's an overconfident Jupiter. I'm really going to get a suntan out here with the sun. Oh, it's hot. Let's see. So that's his overconfidence, to be insulting somebody who really could help you. And she's a Republican, the governor of New Mexico. So he should have used Saturn, which is more cautious, to say, you better be more respectful. But instead, he just opens up his mouth and blabs away and insults her. And then he calls the demonstrators outside. Okay, I agree, they don't have to be carrying the Mexican flag, for God's sake, we're Americans. But he's calling them thugs and criminals. And that's not right either. They're just demonstrating. There's a right to demonstrate in the United States of America. So he loves to insult again. That's a moon of Sagittarius. He cannot help himself from blabbing away anything. So his Saturn means that he doesn't know when to hold back. Reserve, caution, no, over Jupiter. Remember, all these planets and powers given to mankind can be either overdone, too much, or underdone, not enough of. And what we're striving for more of the times is to use these powers in balance so that we become more balanced people. So his Uranus is the unpredictability on the negative, and on the positive is that he's very charismatic and electrifying in terms of what he says. Hopefully it's more good things than it's going to be nonsense. And then his Neptune, as we discussed, when he's very compassionate and feels sorry for the underdog. He said he doesn't want us to see people starving in the streets. And for most Republicans, they don't say that. They just say they don't want any abortions, but once you're born, they don't give a damn. They could starve to death. They're not going to give any money appropriated to helping the disenfranchised. And then I'm not saying just to give, that each person still has to be responsible and work for a living. We're not here to just take care of anybody who's a leech and doesn't want to work and are lazy. That's negative Saturn, negative Jupiter, negative Neptune, and so forth. And then finally we get to Pluto. And Pluto on the positive is a force of intense power. And the very, very wealthy are called plutocrats, because Pluto can accumulate that pile of wealth. Now, if they're using it as a force for good, then they would help out the society, the whole of society, to bring it up so that more people are brought up and can share the wealth. And just to keep it for oneself and cheat on your taxes. Pluto rules taxes, by the way. Mercury is the piece of paper that it's written on. That Pluto on the negative is a con man. And what happened to Trump University? People paid over $35,000 for a piece of paper, and they didn't really get anything. Well, that karma will return as well. And for each to benefit from decoding these famous personalities charts, as the news stories are playing down, is that we should each ask ourselves, are we using all of these planets on the positive or the negative? And any good astrology book could help you understand it. I could recommend one called The Astrologer's Handbook by Francis Sequoian and Acker. That's an excellent book, and you can order it online and so forth, because it really is an excellent text to teach you some of the principles and the basics of astrology. She's really, really good. And she does mention karma, although most Western books will not, because it's the Western paradigm and belief that we do it all here and there's no higher order, etc., and there's no real karma, probably. But anyway, thank you again, and tune in if you want to learn more about astrology and learn to master your karma. And it's to have the confidence and the faith that one can be guided as long as you are trying to be good and use all these powers as gifted by the God force fairly for yourself and for other people, and not to use them on the negative to hurt people or hurt yourself. So God bless. Here comes Cosmic Help.